I am going to trial biphasic sleep for a week. I know that's not a long time. This could really mess me up, so I don't want to commit to doing it for any longer than a week. And it also does like heavily impact my poor partner, who's going to have to wake up to my alarm at 1 a.m. and then wake up again when I get back into bed at 3 a.m. and maybe wake up when I try to get jiggy with him because science. I want to ask if you have seen this thing that's been floating around on social media, and I find it very interesting. People are talking about the industrial lie that is 8 hours sleep. So I think the meme or like the carousel that I saw said that the 8 hour sleep lie you were fed was basically made up by a mattress company and was all because of industrialization. I mean, it just begs a wider question around like, isn't it funny that I'm saying this to you and you either know what I'm talking about, like you've seen that same thing going around on Instagram, we've heard someone else talking about it because they saw it on social media, or you're about to go onto your social media right now and like see if you can find it. I just think that it's so interesting, the world that we live in. And I mean, I'm not going to fight it. I am not going to fight it. I'm getting involved in the things that people are talking about. I think what has happened here is that people have gotten a hold of a particular historian's research. He did a bunch of historical research. He was a historian, obviously, and found that in lots of like diaries of Europeans and, in texts that were produced around the time of the Middle Ages, so like the 13th to 15th century, they were talking about a first sleep and a second sleep. This was named biphasic sleeping. The thing that I'm interested in here is, okay, so if people were doing this in the Middle Ages, and there is like lots of historical texts and literature and like, anecdotal evidence that says, yeah, this was definitely happening. Humans were doing this. And they were waking up and doing all these weird things in the middle of the night, like journaling and praying and, connecting to the divine and being creative and reflecting and making love. Then what do we actually miss by not doing that now as humans? I am interested in, okay, so what have we lost if we don't do that anymore? Are we less creative as a society? Are we kind of like missing out on something by not doing that? I also really like the idea of this being the time when couples made love. It's like, I don't know, there's something about that feels kind of exciting and believable because, if you've gotten into bed at the end of a long day, you might have the emotional and at least mental feeling of wanting to connect with your partner, but do you have the physical ability to do it? Not always. For those of you who are just meeting me for the first time or don't know much about my background, I was previously a sexologist. So I am really interested in like the intimacy, relationship, humans connecting side to things. And so that did really pique my attention. I don't think that many people are morning sex people. Like I think they say that they are. I think that people like to believe that they are morning sex people because it's kind of like, hey, I wake up in the morning and I'm like ready to go, and aren't I just like a beacon of vitality? But I just don't think that that's actually happening as often as we like to say it is. And so, yeah, this idea of like, oh, but there is a period during the night when your nervous system is regulated and you can connect. It's not going to impede on your next morning when you have to get out of bed and rush into your day. And it's also not going to make you feel like it's another chore that you have to do at the end of the day. Sex isn't just about like the getting off part. It's also about the creativity, the relaxation, the connecting with something greater, something beyond just yourself. So I'm just going to do a week. And I am going to trial going to bed at 9, so sleep by 9, probably have to get into bed at 8, realistically. Sleep from 9 to 1, which is 4 hours, up for 2 hours, 1 to 3, and then back to sleep. I'm not going to be doing any life admin. No one's phones are going to be on. And the room is going to be dark. It's going to be quiet. I'm going to have to be quiet. It's cold where I live at the moment, so I'm not going to be able to go outside. And yeah, I'm going to see what happens in that time and then also in my days. Perhaps something quirky, kooky, weird will happen. Maybe I'll have an out-of-body experience. Maybe I'll meet with some spirits. Maybe I'll realize that my house is haunted. Maybe I will write the next great novella. The other thing that I'm really wondering about is dreams. Will this affect my dreams? Will this obviously affect my productivity and cognition the next day? I think this will be really different for different people. It's also going to be different for me, I think, as a woman as well. This is worth saying, as a woman, depending on where you're at in your cycle as well, your menstrual cycle, if you cycle, you're going to feel different. You're going to focus on really calming activities, some journaling, some stretching, some rolling with my acupressure balls, some self-massage. I'm really going to try not to go on my devices. I absolutely will not be doom scrolling. And then, yeah, just taking notes through the next day. On the note of my menstrual cycle, which I mentioned before, I will be in my follicular, so I will have just finished my bleed. And so it's a good time for me to be doing something like this, at least for how I know what my energy is like throughout the month. Maybe this is something that is good, but only at certain times of the month as a woman, but it would work differently as a man. I would absolutely love you to get involved with this journey and let me know if you have done this before. Let's swap field notes. Let's kind of make this a broader citizen science pursuit. And on YouTube, you will get the full journey when I splice it all together with my full reflections after the week. All right, that's all from me. I will see you next week.